Hey, it's Dr. Anthony G. Beck, and I thought I'd jump on here real quick and make a video this morning because I was sipping my morning cup of chlorophyll by the way of yerba mate. It was lovely and delicious, so my little nootropic for the day. And here's the thing. So I was watching a little bit of news on some comments that are being made by the current president about the flu shot being the biggest scam perpetuated, well, he's a little aggrandizing, but at the end of the day, I agree with him. So I'm going to talk about the flu shot just here real briefly. So, listen, I don't think that this particular video is going to end the debate on it, but what I wanted to do is at least instill upon everybody a couple of ideas of how you can free yourself from the tyranny of thought, right? And the way we do that is by personal research and investigation. Just don't always take what people tell you as the gospel. My advice included, always question and then go research for yourself. Look at both sides, come to the balanced understanding, and you'll be free of a lot of enslavement. So, especially when it comes to your health. So, as far as the flu shot's concerned, those of you who know me absolutely know that I don't really buy into the whole concept of the flu shot. Now, I understand a lot of people buy into it and what the powers that be and their dogmas say. But what I wanted to do is pose a couple of questions to you real quick, so that way we can kind of set a litmus test of what it really takes to make an educated decision. So here's the thing. If you get flu shots because of what the standard treatise of idea is, and that is to prevent getting flu, right? Like the flu is a one thing. It's like saying cancer. Like we always talk about cancer. There's a whole litany of cancers. That's like saying automobile. There's a whole bunch of automobiles. So same thing like when it comes to the flu. So that leads me to the first question. If you're going to go randomly, like say down here in Florida, to my grocery store of choice, which would be Publix. They don't have the cheapest prices, but their staff is pretty cool, and the store is friendly. But here's the thing. They offer flu shots. The flu shots. Just go into your grocery store and wheel your cart in there and randomly talk to some clinician who can draw from a vial and inject into you a medication that, if you ask yourself, do you know what is actually in what you are having injected into you or your family member or otherwise? If you don't know what's being injected into you, I think that poses a big problem. And people go, well, we trust in faith and this, that. That's the first way to relinquish your rights and control. No matter who you go to for any type of injection, you want to make sure that clinician gives you an informed consent and you know what it is you're getting. Not just go get the flu shot, because there's a whole bunch of different ones. And that's because companies, there's various ones that make them around the world, are going to negotiate with buyers, like say a supermarket or a drugstore or something like that, to buy vials for all of their stores. And so the thing about it is there is some possibility for things to go awry there, but I'm not going conspiracy theory on that in this particular video. But at the end of the day, you need to know. So if you don't know what's being injected into you, how can you have made a informed consent? How can you have been able to make a balanced, understanding decision? It's not possible. The next thing is then when it comes down to it, do you know even what, say in the flu shot, you're getting injected with? Now, because we talk about the flu shot. Now, here's the deal. Most people don't even know what the flu shot is when it really comes down to it. Well, I'm not to get into all the stuff, but I'm going to give you a brief way so that way you can at least know. So that way you can say, hey, well, at least this person is encouraging me to have an educated understanding before I make a decision blindly. So here's the thing. We've probably heard of things like H1N1 and different things like that. Well, there is, when it comes to the flu shot, we actually, long story less boring, is where a year to a year and a half in advance, there's about 4 or 5 different labs around the planet that look at dead birds and figure out what virus killed them. So then what they do is they proceed to make an educated guess, right, to what is the virus that's going to sweep the entire globe and that we need to protect everybody against by making this flu shot. Well, the thing about it is there's 17 H possibilities, 17 H's, and 10 N's. So the first one would be H1N1, right? And then you go H2N2, and there's a whole bunch of things. So basically there's 170 different options. Okay, 170. So 17 H's, 10 N's, so that's 170. I think your odds of picking that for a global pandemic is more difficult than picking a number on a roulette wheel. You know, always bet on black. But anyhow, the thing about it is so that's the first thing you need to know. So then why is that important is because you need to know what you're being injected with this year, okay? So here's the real easy way to do that. So wherever you get a shot, say it's like at a grocery store or a pharmacy, go in and say, hey, listen, can I please have the this year's monograph or insert for the flu shot? And they're going to give you a little piece of paper like this that comes in the vial, right? And then what you want to do is you want to actually read it. You know that thing that you always get with your drug and you just throw away and you have no idea how it applies to you because some dude that you talked to for 7.6 minutes in an office visit wearing a lab coat and a stethoscope around him said, here, you need to take this pill for your ill. You know, that same kind of, piece of information. Then we complain about all the adverse reactions of it. Well, here's what you want to do. Right? So you want to unfold this bad boy, and I'd like you to read it, right? So that way you can have an educated understanding. Now, I've gone ahead and opened this up. And I've highlighted some things here, so there's no shenanigans, so you can see this is what it is. Now, one of the big gripes that people get is about the stuff that's actually in the flu shot, right? People say, well, there's mercury in there, and then other people say, no, there's not any mercury, there's no thimerosal or anything like that. Oh, is it now? Well, how do you know? You didn't read. You didn't investigate for yourself, right? So here's what I want you to do is I want you to go and get one of these bad boys, and I want you to read through it. So this is the Afluria influenza vaccine for 2016, 2017, okay? And I get these every year. So I actually didn't grab it for this morning, but I have it for last year too. I always do it every year. Because if you get an injection for a vaccination, that supposedly means that you're now immune to said microbe, right? Well, here's the interesting thing is you'll go into here and it will tell you which of the viruses, that's the only thing, bad camera, all right, you're actually getting injected with. So I highlighted those. So this year, this is what's called a trivalent. So in other words, they do a cocktail of 3 different viruses. That's what the flu shot is, by the way. So H1N1 and H3N2. So those are the 2 of the 3. The other one's a beta or a B. We won't get into that. But so you got 2 different ones of an H and an N combination. All right. Well, guess what? The same damn ones from last year. Okay. So if you got the flu shot last year and you got it this year again, well, guess what? Somebody wasn't honest with you because you're technically already inoculated from H1N1 and H3N2. And it's actually, they use those actually quite often over the last several years, right? It's virtually been almost the same. So every year people are getting their flu shot and you're actually getting inoculated for something you've already been inoculated with. That's like every year, getting another vaccine. But don't get me started on those bad boys. So that's the first thing I want you to understand is to read these, see what at least viruses you're getting inoculated in, so then next year you can say, oh, no, I'm good. I got those last year, if you want to be a proponent of the flu vaccination for yourself. But then let's get to the efficacy. How does it work? So then down here in table 6, okay, down in here, you want to read this, and they'll tell you how many people did this vaccine, not this particular vaccine, which is interesting because you need a lot of time to do a trial for something. We don't have time to do that to get the vaccine to market, but that's another video because I want to just stay on point here. But even right here, it tells you that only 0.59, and the CDC will tell you up to 50%. So I guess these guys are, breaking that, whatever. So only 0.59, 59% of the people actually became responsive to it, immunobodies. So the thing about it is the flu shot at best is a crapshoot. It's a 50% chance that it will even work. Isn't that amazing? But then we need to talk about, well, what is in there? Because remember, you want to know what's in your vaccine. Well, guess what? This one discloses right up here, okay? That look at there. Oh, it does contain mercury in every shot, right? In every dose that comes out of there, to the amount of 24.5 micrograms of mercury. Now, keep in mind, the CDC, the government at hand, their allowable, acceptable daily intake of mercury is 0.1. right? Micrograms per kilogram of body weight, right? So for me, I'm 75 kilograms times 0.1. That means the most that I can have is 7.5 micrograms of mercury. Just a little dose of mercury. So if I got this flu shot, that's 300% more for the day. 300% more mercury for the day. For me. Now, imagine your kid getting the flu shot. Imagine your elderly loved one getting the flu shot, right? Mercury is completely foreign. It doesn't have a nutritive value to the body at all. It is, in fact, in multi-dose flu vaccine vials, and you're getting a ton of it for a 50% chance to not catch a virus that they guesstimated will sweep the entire planet over a year in advance. Something to think about. So instead of doing that, learn about Balanced Protocol. Shameless plug. And you want to make sure that you can realize that you have a ton of control in your environment, from the air you breathe, the water you drink, the light that you're under, the EMF that you expose yourself to when it comes to electrical fields and magnetics and things like that, and of course the food that you eat. And all that should be quantified through proper assessment and testing, so that way you can tailor it for exactly you and your genetic uniqueness and your biochemical individuality. So until next time, let's live in life in balance and stay away from that damn flu shot.